If you are purposely trying to avoid the hard moments, you may also unintentionally be avoiding your purpose.
Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go.
Do you know those Facebook posts that start with, "Does anybody know somebody who... ... They pop up every single day. Anytime I'm scrolling my feed, I see these types of ISO posts or in search of. And sure, sometimes somebody will tag the perfect person, but more often it turns into a complete guessing game. That is one of the reasons that we built the directory. It's the one place where people in the agriculture and Western industries can go to actually find each other, freelancers, contractors, creatives, service providers, small business owners who already understand what it is that you do, because that is the world that they are rooted in. And it's been really fun seeing the directory work. A designer recently told me that she landed a huge rebranding project from somebody who found her through the directory. And another speaker had told me that she booked her first ever paid speaking event after creating her profile. Those moments make me grin because that is what the directory is supposed to do. Its purpose is to create connections that lead to continued opportunities for others and to also provide solutions for people who are looking for somebody who can help them do whatever it is that they need. So the next time that you catch yourself about to make one of those in search of posts over on Facebook, or if you're somebody who would like to be found yourself, all you have to do is go to ofthewest.co, find our directory, and get to searching. It is the place when it comes to connecting people within our industries, and I know you are going to find the person for whatever job is on your list. You guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Leaders of the West. You guys know I'm Jessie Jarvis. I'm the founder of the West. And today we are sitting down with an incredible guest, Shelby Clement. She is probably not somebody that you guys have necessarily heard of before, except if you listened to my episode over on her podcast, because she's not necessarily an ag and Western girly. However, that has been one of my commitments this year, is to bring you guys more guests who are outside of our industry, because I think that we all know just what a great perspective we can get from anybody in the world, and especially those outside of our industry. Shelby is somebody who, her personality and just her heart is something that is just exuded through a screen. So Shelby and I have only ever met each other online. We met through our mutual friend, Jillian Murphy, where Shelby was a guest in one of her communities, and I happened to get a chance to watch that. So that was kind of back in, I would say, January of this year. But anyways, so that's when I first met Shelby, and I was hooked. I was like, I feel like we are going to be business besties. And here we are. So with that, can you introduce yourself? Who are you? What are you building? Where are you from? Give us all the details.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. That was a great intro. Wait, you know what makes me kind of giggle a little bit is I have to send you after this the video of me. When I had an event last year, one of the videos, I was trying to do like the most ridiculous videos to like grab attention. Obviously, I did it in Costco. I did it like Chick-fil-A drive-through, all these things. Well, one of them was chasing and trying to pick up my chicken with a cowboy hat with jorts on. And I literally was like, at the end of it, I was just like, screw this. I can't touch it. Because I always thought I'd be like, we have chickens, clearly. And guys, I grew up on a dairy farm. It doesn't make sense. My sister is a vet. My brother-in-law's large animal, but like, I'm not that girl. So we get chickens, right? I don't think I've ever told you this. We get chickens. I'm like, I'm going to be a chicken lady. No. Okay.
It's not for you.
I tried to get them just in the coop. No, one time I got locked in the coop. I thought they were going to kill me. Like, it's a lot. Okay. It's humorous, right? Anyway, long story short, thank you so much for having me. I'm Shelby Clement. I'm so excited to be here. I own a social media management agency. We focus solely on organic social media. I came from the world of corporate. I was in it for 8 years as the marketing director. I started very young at 23 years old. And in 21, I had this really big pull in my heart that God had something way bigger for me. And I didn't know what it was. And my naive little self launched my business without contracts involved, took a leap of faith. And here we are now, where I have been in business for 4.5 years doing this and serviced well over 500 small businesses. And it's just such a joy to show them that the things that are doable online and utilizing just organic social media. And then recently I decided to get into the acquisition process. So why not throw something else at me? But on the professional front, that's what I am. But on the personal side, I'm just a mom of 2 very crazy, amazing young little boys. And I have the most amazing husband that is very supportive. So yeah, I mean, ask me anything. I'm an open book. Like Jessie said, I truly, to my core, believe in anything and everything that people chase. I am going to be your biggest hype girl, all the things. And I'm just so excited to be here.
Okay, so let's kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were in corporate oil and gas.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you just wake up one day and you were like, I'm going to run a social media agency? How did all of that come to existence? Was that part of the plan? Did it just continue to keep growing and that's what God led you to? Explain that.
It's been like such a wild ride, right? So I remember I had just had Henry, which is my oldest. And I was so unhappy with my job. So when I started at 23, I thought I had it made, right? I was 23 years old, straight out of college. I got slapped with marketing director title, had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was flying on private jets. I was literally a woman in a man's world. They were taking me everywhere, doing all these things, and I just got exposure for everything. I do believe that that was a stepping stone to where I am now. But towards like the end of my career there, I just felt like undervalued and underappreciated. And in oil and gas, it's really hard for them to say like marketing is like a thing. So I would be their receptionist. At one point, I was their data entry clerk. And I was just like, this is bullshit, basically. And so I remember going on job interview after job interview just because I wanted to learn. I wanted a mentor. I wanted someone that I could learn from. I was willing to take a pay cut. But that title that I had, every interview I went on, they were like, you're overqualified. You know, you're really good. We loved you. You were the top interviewer, but this is just not the position for you. Like, we can't, whatever. So I think they were just being nice at this point because I was like, I'm willing to take a pay cut. I remember going home and telling John, like, I think, you know what? I guess this is what God wants me to be. He just wants me to be, and I hate that I said it just because there's so much more to what I'm about to say. But in this moment, I said, God just wants me to go to corporate and just be a mom, come home, work my 9 to 5, and just be happy. And that was it. And I remember, I really wish, I video everything at this point, but in the moment, I really wish I would have. It was 2020. And I remember sitting in my office and I had no idea they would say yes, but I found Social Media Marketing World. It was March of 2020. And I asked my boss, I was like, hey, can I go? And I was like, he's definitely going to say no, but whatever. And so he said yes. And I was the week before the world shut down, the week before the pandemic. I was literally just found out I was pregnant with Willie. I flew to California, which is where COVID kind of like started. So everybody was like, not really started, so don't fact check me there, but you know what I mean? They were like, you're going to bring COVID back, whatever. So I went there. I remember I knew no one. I met someone in the Facebook group that her and I are still friends now, but we just hung out together. And I remember what everything shifted was I saw Jasmine Star on stage. If you don't know who she is, she's in the social media world or whatever. She's a firecracker Latina that got on stage. And my ego or confident self, we'll say confident self in this moment, was like, if she can do that, like I can. And then I realized while I was sitting there, how many social media managers there were. So we get back from social media world. I go back to the real world. And I told John, I was like, there's like a career in this. But God was like, hold up, because the pandemic happened. The world shut down. It was March of 2020. I was sent home to do work with a 9-month-old pregnant. Okay. So I'm literally taking everything I learned from social media marketing world and I apply it to oil and gas. Back then it was LinkedIn, really heavy, right? We were doing, when the world shut down in South Louisiana, we're intimate. So we love like being in person. We love hugging. We love touching. We love all these things. Well, when the world is shut down, how do you do that? So I got our sales team to do face to camera videos and we'd post it on LinkedIn. I would do like all over, we had 12 different locations. So basically what I did is I took everything I learned and they were introducing video, face to camera video, all that type of personability for social media. So I was like, you know what, whatever, we're going to start doing this. And then by February of 21, I reached out to my first restaurant. And first off, if you're a social media manager, do not do what I'm about to tell you because you'll get the social media manager at this point. But I happen to get the owner. I literally DM'd him and I was like, hey, I would love to help you with your social media. I would love to meet. And it was like, that is where it all began. I happened to get the owner and she was like, absolutely would love to meet with you. And after that, Jessie, like I never advertised ever because I was in corporate and I didn't want to get in trouble. And she was like, hey, my friend's asking me, can I tell them? And can I tell them? And can I tell them? And I was like, yeah. And so by May, I had this very amateur Excel document on our living room screen because both myself and my husband contribute. We had a baby at this point. So Willie was born. And I was like, I think I want to take a chance on this. And his thing was, as long as you can match your salary, you can make the leap of faith. And I not only had a salary, guys, I had health insurance, I had a car, they paid for my gas, but I could use my car for personal use. Like I could do whatever I wanted. So I was just so naive in that moment. I was like, look, I'm going to do it. I had no contracts because back then I thought just like good faith, they would say, yeah, I'll stay with you forever. My dad was like, that's not how business works. I was like, yes, these people seem so nice. First off, I don't work with anybody I started with still. Okay. But it was just that confidence that I needed to get me to walk away from corporate. And that next Friday, I walked in. No, that next Monday, because that Friday I went to the dealership, bought a vehicle, turned mine in. Monday, I put my 2 weeks in. And that is how it evolved. And it's just been a damn whirlwind since.
I was going to say, and well over 500 businesses later in a 5-year time frame now.
Almost 5 years, yeah.
It is so wild what will happen when we just give in to God and truly like let our purpose drive us. I necessarily don't think that everything is already laid out for us. I think that God puts us in situations and we do have a choice. Obviously, is this the right road or not? And it all kind of renavigates. But it is just so fascinating to really hear that from the perspective of, again, somebody else who believes that same thing.
Yeah. I think too, everybody always asks, because I'll say it like I'm very blunt. I'm like, if you feel like you have a bigger purpose on your heart, then go for it. I'm not telling you to quit your job without a plan. I'm not telling you like do the very irresponsible things. I had a side hustle. I had a full income. I would stay up until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I would wake up at 4 o'clock. I would do what I had to do to help these people. On my lunch break, I'd go shoot the content. I'd do all the things before I could take the leap of faith. Here's the thing, guys. You get one life to live. And if you aren't willing to chase that, then what are we even doing here? And then also, what's the worst that can happen? I told John, I was like, I'm well overqualified that if this fails and I fall flat on my face, I could go get a job. And so like, if that's the worst case scenario for you, because you may fail, people may talk crap about you. They're already doing that. So like, let's check that off. You know what I mean? But like, what if you changed your mindset to what if it all worked out?
Yeah. What is the best that can happen? Not what is the worst that can happen.
Exactly.
So when it comes to social media, because not only do you help incredible businesses with their online presence, but you have a very well-known online presence as well. And your whole philosophy really is about taming the social media monster, we'll call it, without losing yourself in that process. So where did that come from? Is there a moment in this journey in the last 5 years where you've kind of hit a wall personally and really realized like, man, I can see how people can take social media, which is an incredible tool, and get the negative effects from it? I mean, tell me more.
So social media is a double-edged sword. Literally, it's like quite literally like the devil. And then it also is like the best thing that you could ever have for your business in your life. Truly, it could change everything for you. But if your mental state is not there, then it could literally diminish everything you've ever known. And so I remember it was 2023, October of 2023. Nope, November. It was maybe the end of October or the beginning of November. We had just renovated our house. We bought a fixer-upper on 5 acres 4 years ago. And we lived here while the renovations were happening on one side of our house. AKA, we don't recommend that. If you can afford to rent while they do it, do that. Okay. Like, obviously, like it was great. We have memories, but like, don't do it. I remember it. It was like a Sunday afternoon. We were finally moving back into that side of our house. And I didn't feel good. We had the stress of that. And then I had the stress of the agency. I didn't have like the right proper SOPs in place. This was 2023. I didn't have the things, and we grew exponentially that year. And I remember telling John, I'm going to go take a bath. And he was like, okay. And he said, I got to go run to the dumpster to throw things away. So He left, ran to the dumpster. I got out of the bathtub because I literally couldn't get comfortable. I put the boys in the bathtub and all of a sudden my body like shut down. Okay. I looked at Henry. He was probably 4 at the time or 5 or whatever. And I was like, Mommy can't get you. You're going to have to get out of the bathtub. And so he did. And then I remember getting on all fours and I was crawling to get Willie out because he wasn't able to get out. And then I literally looked at Henry and I was like, I need you just to go outside and wait for Daddy. And like thinking about this makes me want to cry. Wow. Because I remember like it was yesterday. And so I was literally laying on the bathroom floor and Henry went outside and was butt naked and he was waiting on John. And as John was walking up, he was like, Mommy needs you right now. She's laying on the bathroom floor. She can't get up. And so he comes running in. All I remember next is I'm on the couch and my sister walks in the door and she comes to help him. He puts me in the car. They put me in the car. I'm literally crying because I'm like, this is it. This is how I'm going. Like, I'm so stressed. I think I'm having a heart attack. What is happening? And so the whole ride there, all he was doing was holding my hand. He was like, please don't die on me. Just, you cannot die. You cannot die on me. Like, cause I was like all just like laid out, right? This is what social media trust does for you. We get to the hospital. They run all this test on me and come to find out I've never had an anxiety attack in my entire life ever. And so I'm having the worst anxiety attack. I thought I literally was dying and having a heart attack. And that is the day I got a second phone. That is the day I put boundaries up on social media. That is the day that I said, I need help in this business or I will die. And May, that following year of 2024, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease from the stress of what my social media business did to me. And that is where the monster was born because it ultimately was being relatable to people that you can be very successful. I just didn't have a turn off button. I didn't have boundaries. I was answering clients at 10 o'clock. I was answering them at 6:30. I was doing all these things. And I thought in my brain, if I didn't say no, I would lose everything. And it's making me literally sweat that how crazy it feels like so long ago, but it also was yesterday that like people respected me more when I put boundaries on, when I told them, the monster needs to sleep too, which means social media. You can be active. You can be consistent if you have a plan and a strategy in place and you don't have to be on there all the time. You can have it working for you while you're working and hanging out with your children or out to dinner with your friends or watching a movie on your couch. These are the things that people don't talk about because it looks like these types of creators are on 24/7. But it took God being like, I'm about to knock you off of your feet for you to realize that this isn't everything. And when he did, it was just like, wow. So now it's harder to get in touch with me because I have a private phone. I have boundaries that you can only there's certain things that we've put into place and it just made me a better mom, a better wife, a better business owner, a well-respected authority figure in this industry. And then that right there, Jessie, is when my social media blew up because then it was like, no, this is what and who I am. These are my non-negotiables. This is actually what happened to me. And when I got vulnerable and told the story, it became really freaking relatable. And so, I don't know. I just feel like everything happens for a reason. And do I want this autoimmune? No. Did I want to have to get a second phone? No. But I also think that the second phone gave me clarity and peace. And it also helped me build boundaries. I think this autoimmune got me healthy as hell and got me to get my kids healthy and my husband healthy. I read labels. I only eat whole foods. I don't let red dye in this house. I let my kids be kids, let's be real. But I don't allow things that I can control. And so I just think that everything underlying all of this it happens for a reason. And if that's what I had to go through in order to get to where I am today, then I'd do it all over again.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is such a relatable story for so many, especially people who are in what I would consider to be a creative industry. So for those of our audience who are listening, who are social media managers, who own agencies of some kind, maybe they are a graphic designer, something where they are their own boss. They may or may not have people that work with them. But again, you can only get as big as the amount of hours that you have in the day. And guess what? We all only have 24 of them. And so it is something that is so common. If you have been applying for jobs in any kind of industry, but especially agriculture or Western industry, and you have not been hearing back, this is for you. On April 22nd, we are hosting a free online workshop called How to Get Hired in the Ag and Western Industries, and I want to see you there. We are going to talk about what your resume is actually communicating to hiring managers, what they are paying attention to in interviews, and where most candidates are losing that opportunity without even realizing it. This is not fluff, you guys. I would hope that you know that from me. This is literally the real stuff that changes outcomes. This comes from years of experience and conversations with employers and hundreds upon hundreds of resumes that we have seen. It is free. It is online. And you are going to walk away with knowing exactly what needs to change so that you can land your next opportunity in any industry, but especially in this industry. So grab your spot for this workshop. The link is in the show notes. April 22nd, How to Get Hired in the Ag and Western Industries. And I can't wait to see you guys there. Let's think about that for a second. Somebody who is listening to this was you at that time. What are the top 3 things that you would tell them to do before they crack? No, I'm not saying that you cracked necessarily, but
I crashed out, sis. I crashed out. The devil took it all. But the 3 things I'd probably tell them is, number 1, don't be scared of losing everything because you put a boundary into place, because people respect you a hell of a lot more when you say no, period. Number 2, great one. No is a sentence. No is a sentence. It will always be a sentence. If you want to tell someone no, they don't need an explanation. It's just no. Like, I wish I would have known that sooner. Number 3 is you are exactly where you're supposed to be in that moment. And so comparison is the thief of joy. If you let social media dictate your mindset and you as a human being, you will lose. And so if you can stand strong in like your non-negotiables and your vision and what you want as a human being, I promise you, you will reap the rewards that you were supposed to if you stay to that course and don't let anybody else affect how you move or do things online, because it really is a mind F for everyone.
It totally is. Okay, on this note, you obviously mentioned Hashimoto's, which for those of you who are not familiar is an autoimmune disorder. You've chosen to manage that naturally, I would say, through diet, exercise. What did it actually feel like before you got that diagnosis? Like, how long were you dealing with those symptoms before you had an answer? Because this is an autoimmune disorder that seems to be more and more common among people, obviously, especially among women. There could be somebody in this audience now who has never even heard of it, and 6 months later, it could be the thing their doctor is telling them. Again, you guys, we are not doctors. I do want to make this clear. But as somebody who also deals with an autoimmune disease, this is a very important thing, I think, to talk about because they are just becoming so prevalent in society.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed. I was shocked. I was like, I am 30. How old am I now? I was 33 when I got diagnosed. So I've been diagnosed for 2 years. I get my results before my doctor does. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I immediately start Googling like an idiot. Don't do that. So I think 3 things. I have Hashimoto's, I have Graves' disease, or I have thyroid cancer. Of course, my brain goes straight to thyroid cancer because I'm worst case scenario girl. That's just how I am. We got to move on.
You and me both.
You know? So I'm like, shit. I had her phone number because we have talked about marketing prior. So I was like, I'm not going to text her Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to text her. So I used all of my resources. I looked everybody up that I had like in my medical world, and I sent them my test results. And nobody could really give me like a full answer. And so I texted her. I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, my test results came in. I'm spiraling, whatever. Now we're like best friends. And I tell her all the time, I diagnose people for her. She says that's not great, but it's fine. I was like, just go see her. I go into her office. I remember that first week, I was literally in her office every single day. I was crying. Let me back up. I'm sorry. What I felt before I found out I had Hashimoto's was like I had cancer or that I was dying. I was irritable. I was so tired. My kids were like, you're taking a nap again. I was literally grouchy. I couldn't lose weight. Like, nothing was happening. Okay. Like, nothing. But everything at the same time, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is literally it. Cause I feel like I'm dying and I just can't, I had zero motivation. I knew I had to do what I had to do, but it was sucking the life out of me. My kids were suffering. My husband was suffering. I was suffering. Everybody. I remember calling her office and being like, hey, I need to get an appointment, blah, blah, blah. They were like, oh, you can get it. I said this because like she's one of my best friends now. You can have it for like June. I'm like, honey, okay. So then I hung up and I texted her. I was like, can you just do my blood work? Like, I am hating to text you right now, but like, I don't feel good. And so she calls me and she's like asking all these questions. She sends me for blood work. I come back, I get the test results. Now back to that story or whatever. So I go into her office and I was like, I hate medicine. I don't want to take medicine. Like, I just don't. Like, I'm not the person, I'm not like the crunchy mom by any means, especially at that point. I just know me and my body. I don't take medicine. I don't like medicine. And I don't think that like in my brain, I should have been taking medicine at 33 years old for thyroid, which I'm very glad I made this decision. Now, when I say this, it depends on your numbers and your lab results on whether or not you could do it holistically without medicine or you have to be on medicine. My numbers were perfect to catch it, number one, and then two, to do it holistically. And I said, all right, cool. What do I have to do? And she's like, well, first I would like you to, if you really want to do it holistically, I want you to go gluten and soy free. And I was like, okay, well, I'm an extremist. So I was like, okay, what else? And she's like, well, technically there's 4 things. It's gluten, soy, dairy, and sugar, basically processed sugar. If I eat sugar at this point, I make sure it's like real sugar. And I was like, okay, cool. So for the first 9 weeks, y'all, I went like a psychopath. We didn't go out to eat. There was no date nights. Everything was labels. I threw away all the plastic in my house. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cure this. Okay.
That's not exactly how that works, but
let me tell you, it's 2 years. I haven't cured it. We're managing it. Okay. I travel way too much. We were going crazy in the house. John and I deserve a date night. The thing is with this, like you can only control so much when you go out or when you travel. People use the wrong oils. They use all these things. I said, you know what? I'm going to manage as well as I can. So I've learned the brands I could have. I've learned everything I can have. So I've been able to manage Hashimoto's for 2 years by what I eat and the supplements I take. Guys, it's doable. And what I would tell anybody here, because once I announced it, I went 6 months before I announced it because I had to like understand that like I had autoimmune, because that's a huge thing to swallow. Because if you don't take care of it and you holistically do it, what happens? It leads to thyroid cancer. And then boom, there we are, you know? So like I had to make sure that I confidently could speak on it. In the first 9 weeks, I was so strict because I remember I finally posted something on Instagram because I love pizza. So I finally found like a pizza crust, and someone in my DMs was like, oh, did you know that was sprayed with blah, blah, blah? And I felt like I was finally doing something good. And when I got that message, I remember going to sit in the living room because I felt so alone because I hadn't really announced it yet, what I was going through. And I just looked at John and I was like, I'm failing. And I just started crying over a pizza crust. Okay. This is what I'm going to tell everybody. Autoimmune disease is not like a disability. It's something that you can manage. And I want you to feel confident in what you have, meaning do your research, ask questions. There are so many women in my DMs that are like, I wish I didn't have to get on medicine. I was like, okay, well, go see a doctor that's holistic or functional or whatever it is. My doctor, just thank Jesus, is your traditional doctor, but she's also a Western doctor. I think they say like Eastern, Western. Eastern's more holistic, whatever. Y'all get it. But she is holistic and she does traditional. So she's willing to talk to me about both, like ask questions. And the thing is, like, you aren't alone. So the more that we talk about it, the more that we feel there are other women that are in this with us. So my DMs are always open. Like, this is no joke. It is a battle that I constantly fight. We check my labs every 6 months. We are a very well-oiled machine at this point. Like, I know what I can and cannot have. I know what I can splurge on. I know how to order at a restaurant. I know all these things. So if you are someone that's struggling with this, please DM me. Like, please say, Shelby, what do you get at a restaurant? Shelby, what oils do you cook in now? Shelby, how do I go to Costco or Walmart or whatever? Like, I can tell you a lot of things because I've studied so much and now I do it with my children. And so it's just, the biggest thing is like, you are not alone when you get diagnosed. And it is so heavy when you are diagnosed that I just want you to know that you are okay. You are loved. And I just want to hug you. So like, cause I know like that's how I felt.
Oh, absolutely. The other thing that I'll add to that too is kind of going back to the whole pizza crust thing. Be very careful your responses to people online. And I have obviously known this. So I feel like all of our listeners know this by now, but I have been type 1 diabetic since I was 12 years old. So now for well over 20 years. And it's not something that I talk about a ton, mainly because I feel like there's a lot of people who do so as a crutch or as an excuse. And I give it as much time as it needs, which let me tell you is a lot of time out of my day, but I don't give a minute more. because it is not the thing that dictates my life. I mean, aside from being able to get my pilot's license, which I don't really think I wanted that anyways after it was all said and done, right? But like, I mean, really, it has never stopped me from doing anything that I want to do.
Yeah.
That being said, anytime that I share, I do always get people in my DMs or whatever kind of correspondence it is, right? Who they're almost kind of like trying to trauma bond.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my uncle had diabetes and he got his leg cut off and all of these things. Again, like, oh, you know that pizza crust is XYZ. Like, okay, other than trying to bond with the person you're telling that to, like, what is the true purpose of why you are sending that?
Yeah.
I really do wish that people would be a little bit more mindful of that. And obviously, I get a ton of great messages from people completely out of the blue, like, hey, my son just got diagnosed. Can you give me some advice? And I am always, always very, very happy to help with that because I know how lonely it can be. And I know how defeating and debilitating it can be, especially in those early days when you literally have no idea what you're doing. And it feels like it is a death sentence to a degree.
Yes.
But we figure it out. We all do. But again, you never know what kind of mindset somebody is in. So just be very aware of what you are telling people. Shelby and her piece of crust were not failing, but somebody's probably very well positioned message, like that is the moment that it hit you in.
And just like broke me. I was like, shit, I can't basically eat anything. So now I definitely can't eat this anymore because like whatever.
Okay, I feel like you've kind of answered this to a degree already, but just to kind of like wrap things up maybe on this topic.
Yeah.
How has your health changed the way that you run your life and your family's life and your business? Because I know that it absolutely has had an impact, all for the positive. But again, Shelby on a Sunday afternoon getting those labs before her doctor did not see it that way.
I always tell John, I was like, it's like an underlying blessing for me because it's changed so much. First off, I've lost, I don't even know what it is at this point, 30 to 40 pounds. It's wild that when you learn your body, so like Hashimoto's, your body can't tell the difference between a HIIT workout stress and like a high performing job stress. And so I had always been a fitness instructor. I taught body combat. I love boxing. I was an athlete, all those things. And my body wasn't responding as it should have been to that. Instead, it needs something like Legree, like Pilates, like yoga. But in my brain, I was like, well, if I don't feel like a near-death experience and I'm not like drenched in sweat, I didn't work out. Well, ever since my diagnosis, I had to flip everything. I not only flipped my food, but I flipped how I worked out because my inflammation, I could never lift my shoulders anymore, my knees, I couldn't pick my kids up. All these things were happening. And I was like, what is going on? And so ever since I got diagnosed, I would say like, first off, I've lost a lot of weight. And I'm not saying it's all about weight, but when you lose weight and you are healthier, you feel better. And when you feel better, you want to show up for your kids. You want to show up for your family. You are driven way more. You're more motivated. You go play in the yard. You want to do things, right? Where I used to just want to take a dang nap. Okay. Well, now I am like in the prime of like, okay, what can I do next? How can I bring my kids to go do something that I enjoy? I couldn't have walked around Disney World or Disneyland the way I do now. And like, it's just all these things that have done things for the better. Like my husband was on cholesterol medicine. He is no longer on cholesterol medicine because of how we've cleaned up our diet. You know, my children are very clean in what they eat. Like Willie, we're dealing with certain behavioral things, but we're checking things off the list. Like, hey, do you feed him crap? I'm like, no. So we can check that off the list. Like he actually eats healthy. So what next do we have to look at? So it's just like, it's really just in the last 2 years, it's changed our life like completely. And honestly, it's helped my family read labels. It's helped teach other people how to cook. Because the thing is, guys, is a lot of people get intimidated by like gluten-free, soy-free. Well, it's really not that hard. If you look at your, seasonings in your pantry, they probably have snuck either like soybean oil in there or MSG in there or gluten in there that doesn't even need to be in there. Like my mom had garlic powder and it had freaking gluten in it. And I'm like, why? It's garlic. Why did we put gluten in this? So all you really need is your basic seasoning, real food, meats, proteins. You can have a potato, like anything grown from the ground. It's just teaching them that with simple ingredients, you can have really good, wholehearted food that's going to be great for you, your body, and your people. And so I think it's just changed so much. And then honestly, Jessie, since I've been diagnosed, 3 other people in my family have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. They didn't know what to look for. They didn't know what to do. And now at least one of them is trying to do it holistically. So I'm like, girl, text me anytime, call me anytime. And she's lost weight. She feels better. She's learning things. And it's just like, cool. So it's completely transformed our lives for my immediate family, but also lives of women online that I share it with as well.
Absolutely. And honestly, like this goes back to kind of what we talked about in the beginning of we all have a purpose, and this is absolutely part of yours. Do you think that most people know what their purpose is and they're scared to pursue it? Or do you think that they genuinely don't know?
I think the answer could be both. I think if you would have asked me even a year ago if I'd be right here, I would have been like, meh, is this God's purpose for me? That doesn't make sense. Like rebranded a podcast, burned down my event, closed my membership, like all these things. Like I'd been like, no, I worked so hard to do those things. Like, why would I do that? I do believe that people have a pull on their heart to know that they were made for more or they are meant to do more, and to take that leap of faith and pray about it and journal about it and ask God to lead them in that direction of what that looks like. Yes, I do think that they have that. It's just sitting down and saying like, okay, God, where am I going next? What is the purpose that you have for me? You know, what step, one day at a time, one step in front of the other, and like get you to that. And then it all makes sense and it clicks. Like, I think that is there 100% because truly, like, my purpose right now is to be exactly who I am, raw, authentic, bring y'all through the journey, be an advocate for women to know that they can chase their purpose unapologetically and like really get to where they're going. But in a year, if you ask me, my purpose could be teaching people how to acquire businesses and opening businesses. Like, I don't know. Like, it's literally the stepping stone of where he's taking me and the legacy I'm building. And so I just think that if you have this tug, chase it, like see what it is. And it could be you're going to be a mom. And that's great because that is the hardest job. Like I couldn't just be a mom.
Lord, we know it.
No, I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know how they do it. It's so hard. My sister homeschools half the time and works as a vet half the time. I'm like, I thought about that. And I was like, I can't do that either. But like, it's whatever is on your heart and that God is leading you to. And guys, it can change and you can pivot. You aren't stuck with the same purpose forever. It's the stepping stone that's getting you to the higher power. Like literally, our ultimate goal is not here on earth. It's how we're teaching our children to be and how we are acting and walking in faith and surrendering to God and getting to heaven with Him. And truly, it's just being true to who you are and understanding that it is scary. It is uncomfortable. It is hard as hell. Like I cried over t-shirts today in my parents' business for God knows what reason, but it was my breaking point. So it's not that it isn't easy. It's just chase the purpose that is on your heart and see where it leads you.
And I think too, I mean, it's not supposed to be easy. If life was supposed to be easy, like we'd all have it made, we'd all be successful. The hard is part of the journey. That's how diamonds are made. So I think that you do have to give in to, if you are purposely trying to avoid the hard moments, you may also unintentionally be avoiding your purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to our rapid fire round. What is it that you hope people remember most about you?
Oh my gosh, you know that one of my friends asked me this question today of like what you want people to know about you the most is that I'm truly genuinely like a hype girl. If you tell me that you want to do something, fly to the moon and walk on it, like I don't know, I'm going to be like, hell yeah, you can. Like I just want people to know that anything you set your mind to, you can achieve. And also want to know that if you ever have like this inkling of a feeling like, oh, people are going to judge me or they have opinions of me or whatever, I want you to say, who are you doing this for? And if it's for your children, then who cares what people say? And I'll say this really quick. The reason why I'm easy to do video right now, and it changed in Vegas at Go Live or video or whatever, Patrick Bet-David was on stage and he said, how much money would you give to see a video of your great-grandparents right now or to know stories that they had? And so if you're doing it for anyone, do it for the legacy you're leaving for your children and for your great-grandkids. So like, it doesn't matter if people don't like it online. You're doing it like, my husband doesn't take great videos of me, okay? I posted a whole dump of him like taking really unattractive photos of me. So like, at least my kids can go look on YouTube. They can listen to my podcast. I'm just kidding. But like, they have this to be like, wow, that was my mom. And so like, that's what I hope to be known for, is that I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm going to cheer for you as long as you're willing to do the work. And I hope that you pursue all the things that you're going to do.
What is a non-negotiable in your life?
Oh, my children, Jesus, family time, my husband. You can't get those memories back. You can't get that time back. I would say that you can come in my world and I'll accept you for who you are, but these are my non-negotiables and I will talk about it. I will preach about it. I will do all that. And I'll still love you for no matter what you are, what you believe, or what you do. But these are my non-negotiables.
I like that. Okay. If you were a professional athlete, what would your walk-up song be?
I don't know, because I have like a ghetto side and then I also have like a Christian country girl side. For a while, it would have been anything Little Boosie because Louisiana. So I'll probably just stick with that. You know, Little Boosie, I need to get like hype. But I also love this song right now. It's literally number one on my mindset playlist and it's really stinking good and it gets me so fired up. It's All of My Blessings, Tommy Prophet. Actually, that would be it. That would be it. All My Blessings, because it just gets me so fired up. And it's kind of rap, you know?
I like that. I like that. What is the smartest thing someone's ever told you?
Oh, my dad. You get one name. And so don't tarnish the reputation that you have. Be kind, be worthy, be just who you are. Because when you tarnish your reputation, you have nothing.
Oh, it is so hard to shine that thing up again, too. It is like 20x the work. So just keep it clean. Last question for you. Favorite things. Do you have a favorite book or podcast, program, product, a life hack? I feel like you'd be a life hack girl. What is something that has just changed your life and you think more people should know about it?
This is going to be, I feel like you know this is coming, but what has changed my life completely is the nudes brand deal that I just did get.
Yes, let's talk about it. This is the perfect time for this.
I will tell you that this is the best clothing. Like when I tell you, you're not going to believe me until you order your first pair of nudes, Nuuds, nudes. Of anything. Their pajamas are the favorites. If you want to start there, do it. But until you touch it and feel it and put it on your body, then you're going to be like, holy shit, now I see the hype. This is a brand I have loved for 3 years. And now I get to be like an ambassador. They call it, quote unquote, a nudist. They only chose 10 of us in the world to do this. I would say that is probably hands down my favorite brands right now. And honestly, life hack, because it's basics, it's elevated basics that make women feel confident. And I have worn these clothes on, it's not this, clearly I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing the pants, but I've worn it on stage, whether it's track pants with heels and a baseball cap, or I've worn my slinky rib with a blazer, or I've just worn it to go to the grocery store or the drop off or whatever. It literally is a hack where women they don't have to think about what they wear. They literally grab it and they wear it and they feel great in it. And it's date night or movie night or whatever it is. So I would say Nudes is probably my favorite brand, clearly, and life hack.
I love that. And especially for people in this industry, like that is honestly the thing. We want something that you can wear on the ranch, that you can wear to parent-teacher conferences, that you can wear when you travel, you can wear on a date night, whatever that looks like. I'll make sure that we include the link down in the show notes, but you also have a code. So what is your code?
I have a code, so you only have to use the link in the show notes. And if it's your first order, guys, they do not give this out. She doesn't even have this. And her influencer friends or her family. We get 20% off to any new customer. So if you click that link and you just want to try it, my favorite top 3 things are PJ's Everything. I love them all. The Slinky Rib is my by far second favorite. Like if I wear it every day, it's like they have a short sleeve Slinky Rib and they have the long sleeve Slinky Rib. It's a form-fitted shirt, but it's so good. It doesn't hold you in the spots and it holds you in. Like it's butter. I'm not kidding. The third one would be the Perfect Tee. It's like a t-shirt, but it's very structured to you. And I didn't try it until honestly our photo shoot. And I was like, why do I not own more of these? Because it's just elevated and but also you can dress it down. You can dress it up, whatever it is. So I would say those 3 things. But the code, you literally, all you have to do is click the link and it will send you straight to my link. And when you check out, it'll automatically put the code in. And if you don't, for some reason, I need you to DM me immediately and I will give you that code.
Okay, that sounds great. We'll make sure that we have the right link in the show notes, you guys. If for whatever reason you can't find it there, you can find the link over on Instagram with Shelby, where can people find you?
Yeah, so Instagram is my favorite platform by far. It's Shelby Clement. Clement is spelled just like Clement, Clement. And so just come over, say hi. Let me know if you love this episode. I want to just hear from you, what resonated with you. I just love having conversations in my DMs. So come on and chat.
Shelby, thank you so much for today. I know that there are so many girls who are going to go follow you just because of the confidence and the personality and the joy that you exude and how you follow your purpose. And that is just so incredibly inspiring, and continue to share that word. So thank you so much for today. You guys, you'll find us back here next week with a brand new episode of the show. We've got an incredible guest coming. I'm not going to spill the beans though, so you're going to have to come back for more. We'll see you then.
If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.